Becoming an orthodontist, a board certified orthodontist, is a journey and a process that can be very challenging and difficult. So, Doc, share with us what has been the hardest thing about this process into getting into orthodontics for you. What's been the hardest part of this whole entire process?
For me, it was just keeping your eye on the prize the entire time. It's a pretty lengthy journey to becoming an orthodontist, to becoming a dentist, and on top of that, wanting to specialize. So you might have to keep your eye on the prize, but in addition, you have to stay focused on the process, right? So although orthodontics was my end goal, I had to, in the meantime, manage patients, manage the classes, manage any extracurriculars that really helped me become an orthodontist because it's no different when you get out into the real world. You'll be wearing, a myriad of hats. So I would say still keeping my eye on the prize and keeping the main thing was always a challenge.
In this episode of the Ask Dr. Darwin podcast show, the New Dentist podcast show, we're going to be talking about orthodontics and applying to orthodontics, how to prepare your application, how to put together your list of programs, how to prepare for interviews, what to expect for your interviews, and then once the interviews are over, how to put together your rank list, selecting your programs, and then we're going to have some insight into the program that Dr. Woods actually matched at. So you have some more information about programs that may be on your list or that you want to put on your list as you're developing your program list for residency. So be sure to stay all the way through. This episode of Ask Dr. Darwin is being brought to you by Get Into Dental Residency Challenge. Check out this link down here. This is the ultimate resource to help you put your application together for residency, right? We cover all parts of your application, CV, personal statement, a DIA pass, supplemental applications. For more details, check out the link down below, and we'll see you in the challenge soon. All right. So today, special guest, new on the show, but not new to gathering information, disseminating new information, receiving new information, but now today, full circle, sharing some game and some information about his journey. Today, we're joined with Dr. Matthew Woods. How you doing, man?
Doing well, Dr. Darwin. It's really a privilege to be on this show. We chopped it up a little bit before, but man, I remember hearing you speak a while ago back in Baltimore. And yeah, truly a full circle moment here.
Yes, man. And I think I remember one of those impression days down in
Sure.
Baltimore, University of Maryland, the first dental school in the world.
Very true.
But
Very
definitely
true.
not the last because there's been about almost 70 schools since then that have come to existence, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, great, man. So look, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about yourself for some of the folks that are meeting you for the first time.
All right. Again, Dr. Matthew Woods. I'm a first year resident now. We're going to save the residency reveal for later, but I'm a first year orthodontic resident. Just graduated from the University of Michigan School of Dentistry in Ann Arbor, Go Blue, and grew up back home in Maryland, the South Side, Prince George's County, and ended up going to community college there before transferring to College Park. So,
Awesome, awesome. So, Maryland, shout out to the DMV. Much love to the DMV, Prince George's County as well. So you mentioned something related to transferring to College Park after community college, and then College Park eventually to University of Michigan for dental school. So But tell us, why dentistry? Why did you pick dentistry, first and foremost?
Dentistry, I stumbled upon while I was in community college. My father needed an implant or wanted an implant, fractured a tooth, and been missing that tooth for a while. And so after seeing his transformation, I thought, what a wonderful opportunity to use science, art, hand skills, and really think about how to improve someone's life, how to give them provide a service, but a health service, which is really unique, right? Contributing to someone's health is a step further than fixing their car or you know mowing their lawn. You're really contributing to their personal health, and so once I found out how to get involved and met the right people, it was kind of up from there.
So once you matriculated into Michigan, you got exposed to a lot of different things, like we all do, different specialties, different classes you like, didn't like, different professors you like, didn't like that were very helpful. Some were helpful in teaching, but also to introduce you to new parts about our profession. So how did you decide on ortho though?
That's a great question, and it wasn't my plan going into dental school. I can tell you that my first mentor, who I kind of got introduced to dentistry through, was what one might call a super GP, but I would say a modern dentist, doing a little bit of everything: Invisalign, crowns, you name it, a little bit of everything. And so that was my idea of dentistry for a while. And that was my goal coming out, was to really finish school and come back practice at home. But like you said, you get into a program and you get exposed to the world of dentistry, right? Which doesn't include just general dentistry. You have periodontics, right? Endodontics, and you get a lot of exposure at University of Michigan in all of those. But for me, and I think it was a very interesting timing aspect to it. I went to Michigan at a time where there were two African American residents in the orthodontic department, Dr. Kenneth Carter and Dr. Chinema Okafor. And they went above and beyond to provide exposure, but also encourage me to explore not just orthodontics, but explore specializing, explore what dentistry has to offer. And so it was, being with them every day, every other day, and then also the network that Michigan provided. There were some mentors that ended up back in the DMV, and they had all graduated from Michigan. So there was this irony of me coming from the DMV, going to Michigan, and then all graduating from Michigan, landing in the DMV. And once I got a chance to meet with these guys, and they're top tier dentists, top tier people, and I'm just fortunate enough to find myself in a situation where I get to pick their brains, I get to learn from them, and work with them. So that was really a kind of full circle moment in terms of why I chose ortho as well.
And shout out to those people that you mentioned, Dr. Carter, Dr. Okafor. There's a whole gang of folks that we know, former residents of mine that
Izzy,
are from the DMV area. You mentioned some people there at Michigan. I don't know if you know Dr. Izzy, Isaiah
yeah,
Sam
Dr.
Sampson,
Izzy.
Dr.
So
Izzy, who's
right after Dr. Ken and Dr. Okafor left, we were fortunate to get Izzy, and again, another one of my good friends, really helpful throughout the process of applying. But he was, again, another critical piece in helping me kind of get through the process.
and I don't want to be remiss and not shouting out everybody, but there's a long list of people, a long list of people related to ortho that have connections in all these areas that we're talking about. And for those of you that are listening and watching, go to our playlist. There's a playlist just specifically about ortho. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Darwin. Just want to take a quick break from this episode and hope that you are enjoying it. First thing I want to ask is, did you know that a large majority of the individuals like you who watch these episodes are not subscribed to the channel, to the YouTube channel? Nevertheless, we want to say thank you for watching and continuing to share these videos and episodes with others. Next, I want to say is subscribe. Yes, please hit the subscribe button so that you get these notifications each time these episodes are released. Last is I wanted to connect with those of you who are seeking to become an advanced dentist and specialist. And I invite you to our next event called the Get Into Dental Residency Challenge. This is a special 4-day event that will give you direct access to the mistakes that you want to avoid when you're applying to residency programs, and also the 8 steps that you also want to avoid so that you do not have an unsuccessful application submission. The information that we will be covering over those 4 days will be some of the tips and strategies that I teach in my one-on-one and group coaching trainings with clients who are continually and successfully being matched into and selected into high-profile residency programs here in North America. So if you're pursuing or aspiring to get into dental residency this application cycle, this challenge is for you. Check out the link below to receive more details and join the challenge. And also, I would encourage you to enroll in the challenge via the VIP experience. The VIP experience gives you actually access to a 1-hour Q&A session every day of the challenge before we actually get started with the challenge. And it guarantees me to answer your specific questions that you and other VIP experience members have on a daily basis. So I'll see you in the Get Into Dental Residency Challenge, and let's get back to this episode. On the YouTube channel, Dr. Darwin Speaks, and you'll get a chance to meet some of these people, and they also are sharing their journeys to ortho that can be very helpful for your journey, right, as well. So shout out to all those folks. I'm looking through my Rolodex now, trying to think of some more folks. It's too many. And I don't want to start saying names because people be like, hey, they forgot about forgot about me. I'm in the
Yeah,
DMV. I'm in
I
the DMV too. It's a lot of
yeah,
people. A lot of
big
people.
place.
A lot of people. So once you've decided about ortho, you then got to get ready, right? Because the decision is the most important part. Not that the next step isn't important, but you got to decide first. And once you decide, then you got to get busy and start navigating. And that starts with getting your application together because you want to be able to develop a strong application that also
Mhm.
gets attention. Keyword, gets attention. So share with us a little bit about how you went about preparing your application, knowing that you needed to get attention because ortho is a very competitive and very sought after specialty.
So for me, one of the first things you realize you have to do in order to prepare for your application is take the GRE. That was something that I knew immediately I needed to get through with. Not a big fan of standardized tests, but as Dr. Darwin likes to say, you can't hide from it. So went ahead and scheduled that test. Spoke with everybody that we mentioned above. Got their ideas, got their philosophy on taking the exam, and I ended up taking it twice. The first time, I I want to say it just was busy. Trying to take the exam while being a dental student, it's a challenge, right? I mentioned my hardest part was keeping the main thing, and when there's so many things going on, again, it's just a super challenge. So what I did the second time was I took it during a break. I scheduled it um, during a winter break, which a lot of people are like, man, you really wasted a whole holiday season. And some say waste, some say sacrifice, depends on how you look at things. And so I took my time and I ended up doing a little bit better and getting the score that I wanted. So that was really the first part. But, updating your CV, all the deadlines that come with the application. You want to put those on your personal calendar and then set goals that are before the deadlines, right? Like you want to beat those deadlines. Um, and then the biggest thing outside of, all those things that are par for course is talking to those in my network. So those people we just mentioned, having conversations with them regularly help to, um, I would say, expand my ideas of what the process really looked like, right? Because as a dental student, and I remember even as a pre-dent, you have an idea of what applying and getting into dental school looks like, but the people who are in it, who have gone through it, have their experiences, which is really valuable. And so I really tapped into all the mentors that I could, and that's really my biggest advice on applying and getting ready.
And I think that's key to remember. What's key to remember is having a plan, right? Got to have a plan of action because without a plan, you're not going to know. Well, you're not going to have your deadlines. You're not going to be able to meet your deadlines. You're not going to know who to potentially ask for letters of recommendation, which we didn't even talk about, but that's part of the process too. And you may not even know what to include in your application as far as your CV, or you
Mm,
may not even know what to write as far as
exactly.
your statement of purpose, your personal statement as to why ortho. How did you come up with deciding for ortho and what you are doing or have done to demonstrate this new enthusiasm for orthodontics, even as a dental student, right? So having a plan is important. You mentioned something about GRE, and we've had this discussion with a couple of with one program director, former program director, who's now the chair of orthodontics at Indiana University, Dr. Kelton Stewart, about the about the GRE and how that works or ties into the evaluation process of your application and whether or not you get selected for residency. I think the biggest challenge that a lot of people like yourself have shared is when do I start preparing for it, and when do I take a prep cat class? When's the timeline that I need to take it? Because
Mhm.
I am so busy. I am trying to do, multitasking, not 10 things, but 110 things. Based on what you did and how you experienced preparing for it, any recommendation, anything you would do differently about the preparation, more specifically about for the GRE? Will you take it at a different time? Would you take a prep course? Would you do this? Any thoughts on that?
So I did use the Magoosh program. That was very helpful, and Greg Matt videos on YouTube were also very helpful. In addition, I would just say take it as early as possible. I think the exam scores are good for 4 or 5 years. So if you know going into dental school, you're planning on applying to orthodontics, that's something I didn't. You could take it, I believe, the year before. Um, and, while you're probably not as busy, you could be coming straight out of undergrad. But whenever you think is a time that you would really be able to lock in, I think, and contribute some time to focus on the exam, that would be my plan because I took it twice and I did that the second time, ended up doing a little bit better. So whenever you have time, I would just say schedule, what do they say, around 8 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, maybe 10, and just get it done.
And to add to that, one possible time may be, and this is dependent on when you've made your decision. One
Right.
possible time could be between your first and second year, and depending on what school you go to. Because I know at Maryland we had, after the first year when we were done in May, we had the whole summer off, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? You had at least a good 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, and that was time for you to refresh. Well, for those of you that are considering ortho and you know early, you're going to use that time to refresh your
Mhm.
understanding of test taking related to passing and getting a great score on the GRE. That could be an opportunity. That's an example of as early as possible, based on when you've made your decision that this is what you're want to explore as well. In addition to that preparation, did you do any shadowing? Do you recommend that those that are interested do shadowing?
100%. I think that's along with the encouragement of, Dr. Carter and Okafor. I definitely shadowed when I went home and I tapped into that network that I mentioned before. Because I had never met those doctors before. Um, but while I was at this university, I thought this is the ideal time for me to connect with these people. Um, and they were super willing and open and honest about whatever I wanted to know, which is that's all you can ask for really when you have an opportunity, you want some advice, and these people were more than helpful. And so still talk to them to this day for sure. But shadowing, we all know the dental field is really small and it only gets smaller, I feel like, right? So tap into it, get comfortable. That's how I felt.
And talking about that community, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right now. So make sure you listen, write these names down, pause, rewind, go back, write them down. These people are people that I have in my Rolodex, and you should look them up so you can find out where they are. They may be at your hometown or in the area that you're currently going to school or where you're from. I'm just going to dive in. Alicia Briscoe
Yeah,
from Maryland. I'm from Maryland.
sure.
From Maryland. She's a
Yeah.
double Maryland grad from dental school and also the ortho program. And I think her mom is an orthodontist as well.
Hmm.
Dr. Bianca Frederick, who did ortho at Howard.
Hmm.
Dr. Brandon Thompson graduated a couple years from Meharry, and
Hmm.
I think at he's at he graduated from Howard as well. Dr. Candice Logan, who's a Michigan grad, 22 from
Hmm.
Michigan grad. That's
Hmm.
another orthodontist. Christian Davier. I forget where Christian. I think he's from Atlanta somewhere. Dr. Christina Aponte, who's a Meharry grad, who finished up ortho at Bronx Care in New York, shouting
Nice.
her out. Darren Morgan, Dr. Morgan, finished up ortho about 2 years ago. Dr. Daryl Caesar, one of my former chief residents, who's an orthodontist. Dr. David Lofters, and he's a Howard grad. He's down in the Atlanta area. Um, oh wow, I mean, I can go on. Dr. Uh, Gardette Hutton, who was a Columbia grad, who was in the Navy, did some ortho at Bronx Care. Dr. Copeland, Garrison Copeland, who did ortho at Case Western out in Ohio. We
Hmm.
mentioned Dr. Isaiah Sampson, who's at doing ortho right now at Michigan. Dr. Jared Fletcher, ortho at Texas A&M. J. Chan Charles, Dr. Charles, who also did ortho at I think at Bronx, Lebanon. Dr. Hefe, Dr. Hefe, call me back, man. Dr. Hefe, who's a current ortho resident in Buffalo, who's a Howard grad. He's finishing up his residency up there. Who else? Dr. Keith Williams, who's both he may be board certified pedo and ortho. He
Hmm.
was a pediatric dentist that went back to do ortho at in Atlanta at the new dental school. I mean, the new ortho program, the Georgia School of Orthodontics. If you're in the Philly area, got to check out and connect with Dr. Kellen Hodges, who has a couple of practices in Jersey and Philadelphia. Dr. Stewart, Kelton Stewart, who is now the chair of the orthodontics department at Indiana University. Dr. Kyrie Sanders, or Saunders, who's UCLA grad, who's a first year ortho student at Stony Brook in New York.
Hmm.
All right. Dr. Latoya Callahan, who's a Howard grad, one of our first ortho residents at Bronx Care when Bronx opened up their program. I mean, I can go on and on, and also include people like Dr. Matthew Woods. So the point is, there's a lot of people that you should be connecting with as part of you preparing for your application. All
Yep.
right. And for a full list of some more people that you can connect with based on where you live, just shoot us an email at new dentist coach at gmail.com, new dentist coach at gmail.com. Let us know where you are from and what school you're going to, and see if we can get you connected with an orthodontist that you can shadow in preparation to develop your application for ortho. All right, so as we're continuing, after you prepare your application, part of that is coming up with your list of schools or list
Mhm.
of programs.
Mhm.
And even though there are, I forgot the number now, close to 60, a little bit over 60 some programs, actually might be
Yep.
a little bit more than that. Um, you don't necessarily have to apply to all 60, but you don't necessarily want to apply to all 60 either, right? You have to
Not at
come up with a strategy based on a couple things, which is what you're looking for in an ortho program. And some of that may be based off of tuition, maybe based on if you get a stipend, maybe based on location, maybe based off of, is it 24 months or 27, 28 or 36? Just depends. So share with us a little bit about how you went through the process of determining the schools and programs and what those key factors were for you as far as what you were looking for and how that shaped your list of programs that you ended up applying to.
Great question. So a lot of what I focused on when looking at the schools were the curriculum, the faculty, the residents. Those to me are what make the program, right? It's the people, it's what the people provide, and then what resources are available to you while you're there. And so those are those are things that all schools have, and they tend to vary in those. So some schools, again, are more traditional, in their approach to treatment options. Some schools are more progressive and offer um, something that maybe not everyone is using, but something that's new, something that could potentially uh, be in the market later on. So I definitely weighed those options. Also, program size is something that's important. I didn't really want to go to a place where I was the only resident. I definitely applied to some schools where I would have been one of few, but that necessarily wasn't my goal. And then cost, location, those are two big things. Location, I prioritized. I would say second after maybe the program, the residencies, and the resources that they have because location, I didn't want to be too far from home if I could avoid it, right? I already went to Michigan for dental school, big family guy. So being close to home was something that was important to me. So I definitely applied to a lot of East Coast schools. Mm. But again, focused a lot on what did the program offer me.
Cool. So after you went through that process, how many schools did you end up or programs did you end up applying to?
Ended up applying to about 15 total schools. I was thinking more around 10 initially. I had some conversations. Another dentist we didn't mention was Remy, also a great mentor.
Remy,
So,
Dr. Richardson, my
yep,
man.
Dr. Rich. So, that's someone who remember didn't apply to too many schools. And I was a lot of what he said resonated with me. I didn't want to apply to schools just to get in. I really understood what I wanted in a program. And so, ended up stretching it out to about 15 at the end.
Now, key point that we want people to understand is this. That 15 that Dr. Matthew just shared, that was for him. Does not necessarily mean you got to apply to 15 programs or even if it's 10. His list is just that. HIS, his, not yours, but his. And
Right.
I'm saying that because one of the questions we get all the time is, well, Dr. Dorman, how many programs should I apply to? What's a good number? Well, that's not part of the strategy. The number is not part of the strategy. What's part of the strategy is what you're looking for in a program. And if you haven't determined that, then you need to start there. And that will help you get to a number first and foremost. So that may help some people, and that may that may actually confuse some people and make more people upset.
Most
But
definitely.
there is no set number, right?
Mhm.
And I'll continue to ask some colleagues on this, but I think maybe a DIA may track. That's if they answer or ask it in a survey, but I'm not sure if there's been any numbers as to of the ortho applicants, individuals that apply to ortho, what
Mhm.
was their average number of programs that they apply to. It may exist. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
And the program directors that I do know that I've talked to over the years, they don't necessarily are keeping that statistic. There's some other statistics that they're keeping. But again, to our point that your number of programs is based on what you procure and what's based on what you're looking for, which could be different, which will be different than the next person. All right. So don't think that there's a magic number because it's only magical to you because it's part of your process. So I just wanted to just wanted to share that so people are
for
not
sure.
like, God, oh my God, he got 15. That means I got to do 15. Or if we have
Nope.
somebody else who told you they applied to 23, oh my God, I got to apply to 23. I got to, no, it does not mean that. All right.
Mm-mm.
So 15 programs after you kind of went back and forth, got some feedback and got developed that list. Let's talk about what happens next is that you got those programs, they get your DIA Pass application and supplemental application as well, because there will be some programs on that 15 that he submitted that requested more money, maybe a headshot, and also they may have requested you answer some of their questions, their specific questions based on their specific application. So you have to do that. And then you do this, or I should say, you receive this, which is silence, because
Exactly.
you're waiting, right? You're
Hmm.
waiting for that email or that phone call to say, "Hey, Dr. Woods, or student Dr. Woods,
Exactly.
we're inviting you to an interview, and these are the three dates." And for ortho, for those of you listening and watching, that can start as early as ooh, July, July and August of that application year cycle as well. So tell us a little bit about the number of interviews that you got and what were some common things about those interview days amongst the programs that you got interviews at.
For sure. So I think what's interesting about my cycle, it was very competitive. I mean, I feel like people were talking about it being competitive. As a first time applicant, I had no idea what that meant. I thought it was always competitive. But yeah, the interview process was it was a time where patience was tested, I would say, right? Because you're hearing silence. And the two interviews that I got were probably the last two interviews that end up getting sent out, right? And so I ended up getting interviews at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio, and also Howard University in Washington, D.C. So those were the two I ended up getting interviews, both great schools, both. I mean, I couldn't have really asked for a better choice of interviews, in my opinion. I mean, you know, Howard being home for me and Case being a program where there are people that I knew who had also helped me along the way, and also a great program. So couldn't have really asked for better interviews, to be honest.
Absolutely. So shout out to Case Western, shout out to Howard being interested in you to the point where they liked you,
Yeah,
right? They liked you on paper. And your goal, now that you got those interviews, your goal now was to make them love you in person. Love you in person. All right, because that's what part of what the interview is about, to get to know you as a
Mhm.
person. Well, so share, if you can, share some of the questions that they asked you in the interview, and share, if share the ones that were kind of quirky or strange or unexpected.
Yeah, so I talking to a couple of classmates and others who interviewed elsewhere, I feel like both those programs ask questions that are very much focused on the applicant, right? They are not trying to figure out if you learned all 1,000 pages of profit, and you know everything about orthodontics before entering residency, right? That was pretty counterintuitive. So they really got a chance to ask questions that were off of your resume, dive a little deeper into your interest. The most challenging questions that I say I got were really how to deal with, a patient's concern. How do you manage conflict within the clinic? But nothing really quirky. Um, Maybe if you could be a vegetable or a fruit, what would you be? But that's a more fun question. It wasn't like I was really stuck feeling awkward and like I needed to search for a really good answer anywhere. They were really just asking who you are and why do you think you're a good fit for this program, and why do you think this program is a good fit for you. So pretty non-weird questions in my interview experience.
Well, that's good. And I will share with you that what's great about that is that it allows you to really showcase, right, who you
Hmm.
are as a candidate, but more importantly, as a person. Because at the end of the day, programs are interested in selecting people, and which means they also need to know who that person is. Similar to dental school, you're going to be spending a lot of time with all the other candidates that will be potentially your co-residents, but you're going to be spending a lot of time. And for these two programs, we're talking Howard 24 months, Case 28 or 29 months, something like that,
It's
based on
30,
what
30, yeah,
30 months.
30
Yeah.
months. Yeah.
So that's a lot of time every day, every week, every month, 24 to 30 months, right? So they really want to get to know you and see how you fit into the program. One thing, one question that you mentioned that was not strange, not quirky, but like different was which vegetable or fruit? I'm curious, which vegetable or
Mhm.
fruit did you say you were and why, if you
I can't
remember?
even remember. And the funny thing is, I should because we just had interviews, but I'm thinking I can only remember some of the funniest answers I heard recently. But no, I can't even remember what I said.
We've heard some similar questions in both ortho interviews, but also pedo
Mhm.
questions. If you were a dental instrument, which one would you be and why?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And second to that, another one, which is an animal. Which animal would you be and why? Right. Those of you that are interviewing now or getting ready to interview in the future, think of those, because those are
Mhm.
also questions that are on that same line of trying to get to know you, but figuratively through an avatar, right? The avatar
Right.
here would be an animal, a vegetable, fruit, or a dental instrument. So and be creative with it, but also explain what it is and how it relates to the opportunity that you're interviewing for. Make sure you make that connection. So we
Exactly.
just gave you some game on how to answer some of those unexpected questions
Right.
as well. So, Case, Ohio, Howard, DC, both of them you have some connection with.
Tough.
Case being close to where you were in Michigan, somewhat.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm. Yep.
uh, Howard being in the DMV, say no more.
Right.
Everybody's wondering now. All right, well, where the heck is he at? What did he do? What did he decide? So, uh, now it's time for the program reveal. We want you to share uh, where you are currently learning and developing your skills as a subject matter expert in orthodontics. So where are you at right now?
So me and Shadur both decided to take our talents to Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland with Shador, right?
Yo, yeah,
So you're at Case.
yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Ended up
great, man.
at Case Western. It was really tough. Um, they were both amazing schools, and I also had so many people from Howard that were reaching out and helping me along this journey. So I would be remiss without shouting them out. Um, but ended up at Case and very happy with my decision. Program really offers a lot, and I'm happy I'm here.
So let's talk a little bit about that, about Case, because we have had some people that we've been helping, guiding and coaching through um, getting prepared for their application, but also getting prepared for their interviews, helping them understand more about some of the programs that they are either getting ready to apply to or programs where they have interviews at. So let's pivot real quick and talk about Case. Um, and for those of you that have watched some of these episodes, more specifically the playlists in ortho, you will find a video, an episode with Dr. Sybil Jones right up. Where's it at? Right up here.
Yeah,
Check up there, and also in the show notes, she gives a very, very thorough breakdown about her experience at Case, how she survived Case, and some more details about the program. And then once you watch that, or yeah, once you watch that, come back to watch this again as
mhm,
Dr. Matthew is gonna give us an update about some things like the strength of the program, things
mhm,
that excite him the most about the program, um, what a typical day is like as well, and what to expect, so that you have a better understanding, have some more context as to the program that you're applying to, or maybe getting ready to apply to, and you want to add it to your list because we know it can be a challenge trying to find out more in-depth details about programs be above and beyond what's just on the website, right? Or what's on the AAO on the tab that has ortho programs in North America, right? So share some details, Doc, about things that you really love about the program, the strengths of the program, how it's, what's been your experience as a first year going through the first 12 or 15 months, however you want to divide it up
yeah,
with the 30 months. Just share them a little bit more insight about those things.
for sure. So the program really offered what I was looking for when we were talking about how I ranked and what did I use to judge schools. The residents here, I mean, I'm biased. They're my favorite though. They really operates like a program or like a family here, the program. So there's three classes but with the program being 30 months, there is a period where there's um, just 20 residents or 10 residents because there's five residents each class, right? So typically there would be 15 total residents, but there's that period where um, the third years graduate and we have 6 months where there's just the new third year and new second year residents. But very diverse group of super intelligent, super supportive, and encouraging people. I mean, my big sis is from Greece. My third year big sibling, Rory, also went to Michigan. Um, from Michigan. My current co-resident from Shanghai, China. You know, all experiences and that I can learn from. All those people have unique experiences I can learn from, take a little bit from, and apply to what I'm doing. So that for me was hard to kind of match up with. And then resource wise, the program, I mean, we really have a lot of technology here, right? So when it comes to CBCTs, all of our patients get that. When it comes to records, we're scanning with Lumina iTero scanners, right? Which that's not, you're not guaranteed to have that when you walk into practice, but it helps to get started. And get exposed to that while you're here, right? So there's that part of the program here, and then there is the engagement in the profession. So I feel as though Case really emphasizes staying engaged in organized dentistry, right? Which is something that really brought me, I would say, here to orthodontics. We talked about meeting also at the 2019 SNDA conference in DC, and how, uh, again, staying engaged in organized dentistry really opened up opportunities for me, but we'll do the same for anyone. So Case sends us to different conferences every year. We just visited the Cleveland Society of Orthodontics, not far from here. Before that, we have the GORP conference. That was in Kentucky this year. That was my first time there. Had a great time and got to meet up with friends and colleagues alike. I got to meet Dr. Kelton Stewart for the first time. Shout out to him. It was awesome meeting him. I definitely watched his interview on your podcast, and that was super duper helpful. So, again, Case just kind of provided everything that I was looking for in the program.
And if I'm not, if I'm not, uh, well, I think he's still there. Is Dr. Haas still there? Is he still
Yeah,
he's the
for
chair of
sure.
ortho? Is he the
Yeah.
program director or no? Somebody else
So
is
our
president.
program director is Dr. Martin Palomo, who, I
Ooh.
mean, he has a really great reputation for a reason.
And
Just
he's a case grad too, right? Isn't he a grad
correct,
of the program?
correct,
Yeah, I remember.
correct,
Yep.
correct. And Dr. Marhans is still the chair. Yep. So two great minds equals one great program here at Case.
Yeah. What are some of the things that Case is known for as far as its curriculum or things that they have embedded in their curriculum that makes them unique maybe in some other programs where either you interviewed at or even had on your list of programs to apply to. Anything that you remember that that
Yeah,
demonstrates their uniqueness and or their approaches or their mission or their goals for training, things like that.
yeah. I would say technology is probably the big thing here, right? Case, there's a history at Case Western with the Bolton brush study, which is longitudinal study, growth study to help determine and understand really how the skull and um, facial anatomic components grow and develop and move through space, right? Because at some point in time, our job is to move teeth through space, through bone. So, with that history here, they developed the cephalogram, right? So that is how orthodontists see patients, right? We definitely use the panoramic as well, but the ceph really adds a layer of information that we can use to understand how patients are going to grow and determine how that's going to influence our treatment, right? And so, with that being said, we take CBCTs, and I mean, the difference between a 2D and 3D image is a big difference, right? Um, so you start to see stuff you didn't even really understand for a while, and now it's like, that's what was there. That's what goes through there. And so a whole new wealth of knowledge, whole new kind of way I have to approach diagnosing and being really thorough, uh, and using my eyes in a way that I definitely did use before, but kind of even more unique.
So it sounds like you're seeing more because you're learning more based on the tools that allow you to perfect and allow you to be this expert that you're developing into being.
Right.
Um, Anything related to how many residents per year does the program take?
So 5 residents per year,
Okay.
and again, really diverse group. So you, I mean, they take residents from anywhere, from from everywhere. So I feel like Case is a
Yeah, I was
great
gonna
school to apply to. Yeah.
And I was going to mention that to you because I remember years ago there was a new initiative that Case had with I think a university in either in China or
Mm,
Japan or something similar to that, where they would have students, residents as part of an exchange program. Um,
hmm
and I know there's been a couple other schools and programs that have done that, not just with ortho, but with pedo too. So of those five positions, are all of those for U.S. grads, or there's some for international grads as well? Is there a combination? How does that work? Do you know?
So in my class, everyone is a student from a U.S. dental school, and but in previous classes, there has been a space for an international student. So I think that's something to look for if you are considering if you are an international student. I think Case Western will most definitely be one of the schools on your list. And something I didn't mention is that there's a craniofacial fellowship program here as well. And being working with those residents, they give us lectures every other Friday. Um, I mean, super helpful, right? Like most of us probably won't come out of residency and go into craniofacial where we're working with cleft lip patients and but having an understanding of how to treat those cases honestly helps you with patients who don't have those conditions. And even still, if you do run into a situation where things are looking a little similar, you can always lean on the advice from those residents and or the fellows. They are super, they're top notch. Yeah.
Now, is that fellowship also available to you all as completers of the program afterwards? And does the program encourage those types of fellowships?
The program definitely, yeah. So the current, there's two right now. It's a 1 year fellowship. It's like they keep one resident and then the next year they'll have another resident. And so a recent grad actually is the current fellow here at Case, in addition to an international fellow from Jordan.
And is there a couple other questions about the program so people can write this down and add it to their spreadsheet, right? Under the information about programs that they're interested in. Is there a master's program associated with it? Is it optional or is it
Yes.
just part of the 30 months? How does that work?
Yep. So in addition to your certificate in orthodontics, you do get a master's.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to uh, definitely present your master's thesis.
And what about cost of living, tuition, stipend? What does that
Yes.
look like for for incoming PGY1 an ortho case?
So Case doesn't offer a stipend. And yeah, typically kind of just loans. Loans are really what's happening. So there's only a couple ortho programs I know that pay. I think UCLA is one, um, and there's one in New York, or maybe two in New York. Otherwise, you are paying tuition, and I want to say 68K a year here, and then that final 6 months is somewhere around like 4 grand. So you end up around 130 total for the program. Um, and that's, I would say, there are programs that are a bit more, and there are programs that are a bit less. So I,
Yeah, this I can think of one that's 1 year is to 2 years or 30
it,
months at
yeah. So I was being
at
modest,
case.
but
Yeah,
but yeah,
no,
it can get
no.
really pricey.
And
Um,
there are residents that make that decision, whether they're from the US or international, but yes,
mhm,
it does it does pay. Yeah, you have to pay the place in some aspects,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So tuition about 130, anywhere from 130 to 140 for
Yeah.
those 30 months, no stipend. Um, but it sounds like there's a lot of other benefits, especially programs that will support the residents in their learning as they are learning external to the program, right? Going to AAO. I
Hmm.
know there are some programs that where residents not necessarily are encouraged, but maybe voluntold to present at AAO, right? Whether it's a
Hmm.
poster presentation or your research project idea or something similar to that. Have you started with that as well? Is that part of the things that you have to start to develop as a first year resident in ortho, your research project ideas?
For sure. Yeah, we started talking about that, and it's good. It's helpful because we're seeing the third years present their projects and able to kind of ask them, how did they get started? Where did they get the idea from? Who did they reach out to? So it's definitely, yeah, you gotta hit the ground running. And that's another thing. I think we're a program that starts pretty quickly in terms of uh, getting started in the clinic as well. So we started like June 16, and
Mm.
I graduated May 9, I want to say. So you can do the math, but we got started not long after, graduating. But that I feel is an advantage, right? Like you have a limited amount of time in the program, so you definitely want to make the most of it. And again, I just feel like the curriculum and the faculty, they're all about making the most of the time in the program.
What, as we finish up talking about case, what are some things that you're really looking forward to that are going to be coming up um, in your second and third year? What are some things about the program that you've heard from current second years and third years about what you should anticipate and what they have shared with you you're excited about that's
Yeah.
coming up?
So one thing that we haven't really gotten started with in our first year is we get to rotate to private practice clinics
Mm.
that are we have our faculty that are local, and so we get to shadow there. We get to spend some time with them um, in our third and I want to say second years, yeah, which is super helpful, right? Because you're almost out of the door, right? It's a short program, so you really want to understand and get the experience of being outside of case clinic. And so again, I think the program does a good job with that. I think setting us up also in our surgical clinic, right? So there's a clinic we have here specifically where we're just treating patients who are going to end up in surgery. And so I think that's very helpful as well. And I'm excited to get started with that. But again, in our first year, kind of getting our feet wet, but still kind of thrown in the fire at the same time. Um, so that'll be around the corner. We're about to get a bunch of transfer patients. That's exciting.
Yeah. Get
Yeah,
on with get on with the translation and the rotations of
man.
canines through the bone. Let's go. Or some
Yo,
extractions and filling out the spaces and using some anchors to
yeah.
retract stuff. Um, I'm sorry, I got one more question as it relates to ortho, and this is based off of something I just learned about in a CE course a couple
Hmm.
weeks ago, which is sleep apnea, airway,
Hmm.
and how you as an orthodontist will be involved or could be involved in the collaborative approaches and interdisciplinary approaches for surgical interventions related to people having compromised airways.
Hmm.
Very interesting topic, very important topic, especially for those that are having, this chronic issues with compromised airways, all because of
Hmm.
craniofacial and soft tissue abnormalities, right? I don't know. I'm not familiar with Case Western's program as it relates to that type of integration of that topic into the curriculum, but I would assume or I would anticipate that as that topic of airway, sleep apnea, and surgical interventions continues to be explored, that you as a board certified orthodontist in training would probably get some more of that, some more exposure to that because it is definitely a real thing. Another example of how oral health is connected to overall health, especially working with other professionals in the same space, ENT, right, or surgeons, um, and some other professionals related to sleep medicine as well. Do you know or have you seen from faculty members or other residents that being a topic, sleep medicine, airway issues being part of the curriculum that they're gravitating more towards or starting to introduce as part of the program?
Most definitely. Even when I externship here at Case Western, I was able to sit in on a seminar where our program director spoke about a technology that we will be offering our patients here. Again, another perk of the program, but again, to yeah, assessing airway space, assessing sleep apnea, and being able to refer that patient out. Um, Being able to kind of see it earlier, catch it earlier, because with the CBCT, yeah, you're able to see a little bit of the airway space. And then obviously, with your clinical examination, we take surveys, asking patients if they have a partner, do their partner hear them sleeping? Do they notice that they're sleepy in the morning more regularly? So for sure, our program is looking at sleep apnea, looking at ways to assess that, and then find solutions for patients.
Yeah, and on that survey that you're asking about their partner, uh, it's a little bit more than just whether or not they sleepy. It's whether or not they sing in their sleep, called
For sure.
snoring.
Yep. Yep.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
I was just curious about that. Um, and there's some other things that people are curious about. Like right now, they're curious about this, which is if I am considering ortho, or if I have already made my decision that I'm going to be a board certified orthodontist. Now they're thinking about and they want to know how. How do I go about it? You talked about it a little bit about your preparations or what things you started to do to prepare your application once you've made that decision. But I'm sure there's some other tips and advice that you can impart on us, and especially those that have already made the decision, and then also those that are still considering ortho as a specialty, as a career pathway. So, knowing what you know now, what you did, and your experiences, share with us some tips and advice. And it also could be things that maybe you wish you had done differently, even given the fact that you matched in ortho and you're a first year resident, but maybe things that really also solidified and enabled you to be where you are right now. So what are those tips? What's some advice that you have for those future applicants?
So I think after hearing you ask the question, honestly, one of the bigger things that kind of stuck out in my mind was making sure you're running your own race, right? If you think about the Churchill Downs or Triple Crown races, right? Not that we're horses or anything, but it's very competitive, right? And we're all trying to get to that finish line. And, you're seeing the same people every day also, right? You don't go through this process alone, or you shouldn't. But you kind of have to have an iron sharpens iron mentality, right? So you got to know that whoever's right next to you, that person is pushing you also, right? So I know speaking with Dr. Jackson soon, but that was my other sword or other piece of iron where we both kind of sharpened each other along the way. So if you can find a colleague or a friend that keeps you honest with your personal goals and kind of keeps you on the right path, that's critical. Obviously, staying organized and staying connected. We talked about the plethora of mentors that you mentioned, the ones that I had. Those people are invaluable, and their experiences are invaluable in helping me or helping anyone who wants to pursue orthodontics. And then just things that are par for the course, right? Keep those deadlines set. Do it. Be proactive. Be proactive. It's hard to overstate that. You know,
What do you
getting
mean by be proactive? What's
so
an example of that?
me personally, I like I said, I didn't really decide to go into orthodontics until I kind of went. I had a journey and an experience that led me there. Had I known I was going into orthodontics, going into dental school, right? That checklist, I might have had some checks off already. I might have already shadowed and just had a little bit more familiarity with the process of
Doc, can you say that again?
so
You say that again. You said you would have had some more familiarity.
with the process of orthodontics, right? Because I didn't really consider it until the end of my second year in dental school. So that whole time was going by, and I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to have the best grades I ever had in an undergrad, right? Those are the kind of things that the earlier you know, the better you can approach and prepare for. So being proactive, listening to Dr. Darwin's podcast, right? Seeing all the opportunities you can get um, in dentistry, and then he's got the plan laid out for you, right? You can get this the whole scope from me, from Remy, from all these other people. So that's also being proactive, right? Seeking advice that you know you'll need.
Key point. I like that. Be proactive in seeking advice, listening to the advice, especially since the advice is worthless. The tips are worthless if you don't implement them, right? Like you got to implement them. Tips are great. Uh, uh, Advice is great, but they're horrible if you don't implement it. So you gotta implement it. And there was something else you said related to grades, right?
You know,
Grades. And this is for everybody, whether you have a 4.0 or you have a 3.2 or 3.3 or maybe a 3.0. Grades is just one of many things that programs will look at. They may use it as a way that they may use it still as one of the more traditional ways of trying to sift out and weed out people. So keep that in mind and keep this in mind. You are not your grades. Who you are
yeah,
as a person, as a trainee, an orthodontic resident in training is not based only on your grades. Like who you are and what you can achieve is not based on your grades, right? Keep that in mind because a lot of candidates, especially for ortho, just like for pedo and for endo, are so boggled down about, oh my God, I don't have a high GPA or I don't have a high class rank. I will never be an orthodontist. I will not get an opportunity to be an endodontist, and then I'm not going to get an interview for pedo. And no, it does not mean that. Keep that in mind. You are not your grades. You are not your grades. And don't let, there's a quote by Mark Twain that goes like this: never let your schooling get in the way of your education. Mm.
I can say that one more time
Never let your schooling get in the way of your education.
for sure.
Part of that explanation is you are not your grades. The grades that you get in school do not determine how you can learn and how you can learn, and the things that you do learn by being educated or educating yourself or seeking education or opportunities for advanced education, like we're talking about today. All right. So if you want further explanation of that, ask ChatGPT or Gemini to break it down for you, and you'll get some more context. But for real. Like you are not your grades.
Yeah,
You are not your grades. So, because I'm sure we can find a whole bunch of 4.0 people who maybe don't necessarily have the best chairside manner or have a lot of room for improvement, right? And
very
especially
true.
what we do as dentists. It's
Yep,
very layered as well. So I'm gonna get off
exactly.
the soapbox and get back to the contact me box, which is a great segue for um, an opportunity for you all to contact. Dr. Matthew. But hold on real quick, Doc. These tips, this advice that you shared is platinum level in the sense that, play this, do this play that this platinum play that Dr. Matthew just shared as in the guise of tips and advice. Run your own race. Don't do it alone. Find a partner. Find somebody else that maybe is applying to ortho or pedo or another residency program, right? Be part of that energy that they have, and you guys will be synergistic to one another, right?
For sure.
Connect with and get a mentor. Make sure that you are meeting deadlines. You said that. Being proactive, seeking help, and understanding that if you do make a decision early enough, yes, there is a focus on grades, but that's not it. That's not the only thing. You still got to put your letters of recommendation. You got to find people that can do
Mhm.
that for you. You have to do some shadowing so you have some content to include in your personal statement, but also your CV. Listening to the podcast. Thank you very much. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. It's here. It's community service content. It's here. It's
Yeah.
all facts based on people's experiences. And I'm sure people can find not only inspiration, motivation, but things that they can implement the podcast, right? In the podcast. And just go back on one thing too, being proactive, seeking help.
Yeah.
Help.
Uh,
Help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help, people, right? The smartest man and woman in the room is the one that asks for help. Only stupid people don't ask for help. We don't know. We don't know everything.
mhm.
Even those of us that have been practicing dentistry for 25 years and got gray hair like this, or don't have any hair,
Right.
we don't know everything. We still are seeking help. It's part of what we do as dentists and part of our journey uh, called lifelong learning. So it's okay to ask for help. As a resident in training, guess what you're asking for, paying for, exchanging for every day of your 30 months? Help. You're getting help. Advanced dental education and orthodontics. It's help. Helping you reach the highest level of skill set and proficiency to be able to be called a subject matter expert in orthodontics or craniofacial orthopedics, right? All
Mhm.
from asking for help and putting yourself in a position to ask for help. So important. These tips, man, were so important. Thanks for sharing those. And if
Oh,
you can, we'd love for you to share how people can get in contact with you if they have some more questions, whether about your process, but also about things that you're experiencing now as a resident in ortho. So, what's the best way for people to contact you, man?
best way to reach out is via Instagram, and everyone can find me at Dr. Woods. It's going to be Dr. Woods with two D's and an S because I got my DDS. You know.
Dr. Woods, DDS. Yeah,
Yeah,
got you.
exactly.
That's
Yup.
up here. Dr. Woods, Instagram, Dr. Dot Woods,
Oh,
WOODDS.
correct.
Dr. Woods, right. Well, we were correct in making sure that you joined us today, and it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for
Mhm.
dropping some game, giving us some plays to play, and continued success to you. We'll continue to follow you in your journey en route to becoming a board certified orthodontist. We'll maybe catch up with you after a year and see
Amen.
how you're surviving it all, right? Some
Exactly.
lessons that are being learned, but we learned a lot from you today. Thanks so much, guys. Make sure you go to the next episode so you can learn some more. Go, go, go.
Yep.
Peace, love, and smiles. Go to the next episode.